right there. Let me tell you.
High budget stuff.
High budget is not us. Not at all. Anyways, hey guys. How goes it? I'm Andrew, DM at the Dirty Rollers. We're doing Cartalkraphers again after a little hiatus. I was trying to do this monthly, failed miserably, but we're back. And today I am joined by David North. Sir, why don't you tell me
Hello,
a
hello.
little bit about yourself? Tell me what you do. We'll go from there.
Yeah, I'm a illustrator, sometimes concept artist, token artist. Pretty much almost all the work I do now is related to tabletop RPGs. But I used to do children's books, video games, all that fun stuff.
Awesome. Um, So yeah, I was gonna ask about this, and Lady Mostella beat me to it. Um, Everyone, you should do yourselves a favor and go check out the links that Lady Mostella dropped in chat. They are to his personal site where you can get a bunch of the VTT tokens, which we use a lot of. Where you can get some custom ones made as well. Um, there is the Roll20 marketplace where you can go get a bunch of the packs that are also on your personal site, right?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same offerings. I think there's bundles that I have on Roll20. I don't have bundles set up on my site, but I do have promo codes that if you follow me on social media or if you're a member of my Patreon, you get an even better promo code. And that just takes a certain percentage off an entire order. So it essentially works the same way as a bundle.
Awesome. And you know what? Speaking of your your Twitter, I forgot that one, bro. Like I said,
I have a really long name on Twitter. It's not a good thing to have, but
but it's unique.
that is true. I tried to think of something and just everything I thought of just nope, that's taken. Well, crap. I guess I'll just have to go with this really long name.
Here we go. I got it. You guys can go follow him on social media, and the last of the websites that I mentioned is his Patreon. Go subscribe to his Patreon and get an even better deal that he mentioned. Um, I definitely have not abused any of the promo codes at all yet. That's a lie.
You should.
I have.
Oh,
I got most of the Witchlight tokens that we've been using were from I think the first code that you put out.
okay, awesome.
So yeah, what I've got pulled up at the moment. I'm gonna work on something while we shoot the shit here. But this was the last Witchlight map that we were on. Built this one for the arrival in Hither, which I also realized after the fact that I forgot to tell the players what the name of it was. So yeah, if they're watching, they know what it is now. Otherwise, they'll find out tomorrow. But we're gonna start a brand new map from scratch. And you mentioned a dreamscape or like a starscape or something.
Yeah, just something really weird where something that's connected to that great old god that Buckle-Tick is having to deal with.
I like it. Let's see. We can get real weird with it and go with skeletal plains. That sound
That might work. That might work.
bones for vegetation, an ice field. Sounds like it might work.
Very awesome.
Hey, Lunatic, welcome in. Yeah, just saw Jay-Z. He's one of the players. Lady Mostella is one of the players. Rev, thanks for hanging out. Nuxter, go through and say hi to everybody real fast. I think I said hi to everybody there. So yeah, this is what it gave us for Icefield. Not see what else we can do. So while I look at that, I guess we'll start off with some easy ones. How's that? I'll go.
Sure.
How'd you get into D&D? Like, what got you into it, or just
All right.
TTRPGs in general?
Well, uh, it took a long time, honestly, to get into it, which is kind of surprising. My dad used to play, and I can't remember what year it was. It was like 2000, maybe nine or something like that. Um, I had been playing a massive amount of Elder Scrolls Oblivion, and he's like, "Man, that reminds me a lot of Dungeons and Dragons." And I was like, "Yeah, I've never thought to play it or anything like that." And he's like, "Well, here," and he hands me his Advanced Dungeons and Dragons Player's Handbook, and there was a little bag with a D20, a D8, and a D6. Those were the only three dice he had. And he's like, "Well, here you go." He's like, "I'm not rich, so this is your family heirloom." So I started reading it, and I was like, "Okay, this is definitely an interesting idea, but I do not like some of these rules here. I think I won't be able to get anybody to jump in with this." So I started writing my own rules, and we were me and my friends, we were also really into Lego. So
Hmm.
I based the rules on Lego. So you had all the sword pieces and shields and stuff like that. So I even had it so that each sword had its own stats attached to it,
Nice.
and it was ridiculous. I made this grid board that the Lego minifigures, their base would lock into it as they move and select where their character is going, and it was ridiculous. It really wasn't a great system, but it worked. Um, but then I was like, it would be kind of nice to not have to store all this stuff all over the place. Um,
Lego everywhere.
so yeah, so fourth edition was the big deal. Well, I guess it wasn't ever a big deal, but
The
it was
current
a big
deal.
enough deal to where the red box was in Walmart.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, I grabbed it and I was like, okay, this kind of plays sort of kind of like what I have, but a lot better. Let's see if this works. And it did. And we kept playing fourth edition until fifth edition came out. And then I had to convert everything over.
Convert
And
all your
that's,
players over.
oh, yeah. And, for the most part, it worked. But yeah, my Warlock player kind of had some abilities taken away that they missed. And I understand that. They
And got
felt a little
replaced
hurt,
with nothing but Eldritch Blast, right?
pretty much.
We
And
had
now
a
that they're happy now though, because what happened was they're like, I'm kind of bored, and I was like, all right. So then I threw a werewolf at him, and it bit him, and now they can turn into a werewolf, and now they're happy.
there's a Werelock.
Yeah, a werewolf.
Excellent.
They love it.
Don't give my crew any ideas. Actually, we have a werewolf in the party in Frost Maiden.
Ah, okay.
Yep. And it hasn't bit him in the ass too hard yet, but I think
Were
it's
rat.
yep. Or yeah, not werewolf, were rat. My bad.
That's awesome.
So see what we can do for a background on these. I think I'm gonna have to blow this up some. Yeah, that's a fun start. So you started with AD&D, go to fourth, and then convert everyone into fifth. Just
Yeah.
um, everybody was pretty receptive to changing over.
Yeah, actually, very receptive. We had looked at the rules as they were kind of releasing the playtest material and stuff like that, and we were like, yeah, this seems even more streamlined. Even though we love fourth edition, there are some things that are a little, there's a lot more to kind of keep track of. And fifth edition's just way more simplified and easier for most of the players. So
Yeah,
that's what we did.
nice. What's the party consist of for your fifth edition group?
Well, for the fifth edition group, for that original group, um, so we have a warlock halfling. Her name is Bink Fizzlebang.
Awesome.
I have a lizard folk wizard. Um,
You have a lizard wizard.
who, yeah, he's crazy. That's my rules lawyer player. Um, of course, as a wizard.
Right.
uh, but he's a lot of fun. And then my brother is actually in the group, and he started off originally as a dragonborn. I believe it was sorcerer, and he went like he's the most chaotic player I've ever had. So chaotic that the rest of the party members killed him because they were tired of his crap.
You hear that, JC? You hear that? That's what's gonna happen to you.
And so he they did let him roll up another character, and this one is a much more mild character. I think it's what he originally wanted to play. um it ended up being a rogue, but now he was like, well, I'm really liking rogue, but I kind of want to switch to warrior because of my story and everything there. He kind of had like a weird god thing going on too. um so we switched that up through story, and now he's a fighter,
Nice.
um a human fighter. So and then we did have a halfling rogue, but he just started losing interest in the game. He's kind of like that. He jumps from game to game.
Right.
He's like, oh, I want to play video games. Now I want to play tabletop games. Now I want to try and build something out of wood. So, um, yeah, but he made it through. I ran that campaign for about 5 years.
Oh, that's a pretty campaign.
So, yeah, and it started with not knowing what the heck to do.
Just you said you started off making your own rules, right?
Yeah,
And then eventually
and
learning.
and those characters that we played in that Lego campaign, we didn't use any of that. We started fresh. And it was just kind of like one day my friends were over visiting, and they saw the red box, and they're like, yeah, you keep mentioning this to us. And it's like, yeah, it sounds like it's a lot of fun. Well, what are we waiting for?
Oh, let's do it.
And no preparation, no nothing, just went straight into it.
Nice.
And that fourth edition box had it did come with some fold out maps. And one of them had a crossroads on it, so I did the old you meet at the crossroads scenario, and
Excellent.
it ended up being a 5 year thing.
Nice. So, um, what were you into doing art stuff before then, or D&D come first?
Yeah, I've always been into art stuff. I originally got my start so right after high school. um I tried to get into comics. I thought
Oh,
that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a penciler.
one of the
And
most punishing artistic careers you could go for.
yeah, especially at the time, because the indie scene was not what it is today. Like the
Right.
indie scene is really cool. There's a lot of great comics. Indie companies are actually making money. Back then, when I started right out of high school, that was not the case. I'd be working, 18 hours at least a day, and still not making enough money to pay rent and bills and all that. It was pretty bad. So I was like, well, I can't keep doing this, unfortunately. So I went to college for a bit, and um, still didn't know what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to do art still. I just wasn't sure how I was going to make money with that. And eventually somebody was like, I know somebody that's looking for an artist, and I'm going to give you their contact information. So I reached out to this person. I'm like, yeah, I'm making I make PC games, um, and I need some art. I need icon art, and I did the project. I think it was called. Let me think. Occult Chronicles, I
Okay.
think was the name of it, and you were commanding legions of demons to try and take control of hell or something like that. And it was a lot of fun. I loved working on those icons. And the crazy thing is that the amount of money that I got paid in just one day was more than what I made like 5 months, my first 5 months working in
I
comics.
believe it. I
So I was like, I think I need to rethink things a little bit.
yeah. I mean, they're in a better spot now, like comics in general. But I also didn't know you were a comics person. This is fun. Have fun with this.
Yeah,
Um, they're in a better spot, but it still seems like it's pretty like hit or miss as to if people are being taken care of.
a little bit. Yeah.
In
Um,
terms of pay and whatnot.
yeah, it is a little hit and miss, it seems still, but for the most part, I think that from what I've seen, there's just a lot more avenues and ways for people to just get the word out. There's actually a comic book artist from my hometown. Um,
Terrified.
yeah, I love it. That is right there, the great old one. Perfect.
Yield
I
most.
love that background too. How nuts that looks with all the warping and everything
Yeah,
of
that's
that
fun.
space. That is insane. I love that.
That was this is using the Dungeon Alchemist I call them green screens. I think they're called abstract assets in here. They're just these, green patches that you can upload a texture or a picture on, which is all I'm doing. We just went and found some galaxy pictures and toss them on here.
Yeah,
If we really wanted
I-
to, we could fill up this whole bottom with another one and make it look real trippy.
that's kind of cool.
But yeah, sorry,
Um,
you got a comic book artist in your hometown?
yeah, another comic book artist in my hometown. He's he just tried to do his own thing. Um, and he's now, I can't say much about it. Uh, for NDA purposes, of course,
Mm-hmm.
that he has to deal with, and I know all about that. Uh, he's doing something for Dark Horse,
Nice.
and that makes me feel happy because when he started, I was like, I really hope they don't have to deal with the same crap that I had to.
Yeah.
Um, so
Like the whole not being paid, not just not being paid fair wages, but just not being paid at all.
oh yeah, because it was one of those things where, like I said, I wanted to be the penciler. But I would have to do pencils and ink, or
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I was an inkist, and I'd get these pencils, and because back then too, I was still getting like the blue line pages mailed to me physically. So and the whoever was the penciler, it's like they took a number two pencil to use, and really you can use any pencil, but they took a number two pencil and they pressed um they pressed really hard into the page. So
Mm-hmm.
even after I inked over and tried to erase any marks, there's still like these huge dents, and I'm like, that's going to show up in the scans.
Just
I
heavy
don't know
handed.
what I'm supposed to do, and I'm going to get yelled at for it. So, but it does look like we have a couple questions in the chat.
Yeah. I saw
Um,
Nuxter. I didn't want to interrupt you, but yeah, Nuxter, I saw you. If you want to ask. And well, she puts her question in. Oh, wait, there she goes. I'll get you in a second, General. Nexter said, I was made aware of your work by Dirty Rollers here. Spent yesterday browsing through all the available artwork you have on the site shared. Loved it. Self proclaimed suck ass artist, and I've just started to try to do stuff digitally, not only on paper with my pencil. Definitely have a favorite to your stuff. From what I was able to see, which leads me to the question: do you have favorite artwork that you've created, and is there anything you dislike about your work in general?
Oh
Questions?
boy. I think I do have a favorite piece. It's a painting of a really rundown looking little robot guy, and he or it's just in a junkyard trying to find parts to kind of repair itself. And there's a light coming from above, and you can kind of see little bits and stuff of metal and stuff like that kind of going up. And it's just all about the way I posed it and everything. I don't know if I can post a link to it or not. I can.
Yeah, you should be able to. I have my rule for links is I'm cool with them until somebody ruins it.
You know,
Which it's
I
gonna
really
happen
hope.
sooner or later.
Oh God, I hope it doesn't. I hope it doesn't.
It's the internet. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, here, let me see if I can wait, what is this? Okay, got it. Da-da-da. There, I posted a link and I think it should take you to that piece.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, yeah, so that's the piece. And the reason why that's my favorite is it's not the most well done piece, but um when I did it at the time, I had no idea how depressed I was.
Okay.
And that piece wasn't done for anybody. It was just a piece I was doing. And yeah, it really opened up some truth for me. I was like, holy crap, I am so unhappy with my life.
Right. And it's interesting that not an art piece that you went out and saw somewhere or saw on the internet. It's one that you did is what opened your eyes to that.
Yeah, because in a way, even when you're doing something for a company, there's always a little bit of you in the piece.
Hmm.
Um, and when you're just drawing for fun, it usually ends up being you completely in the piece.
Right.
It's all you and all the emotions and stuff like that. Even if you're not fully aware of them, they're all thrown in. And yeah, that's what happened with this one. So, and I think that's why it's my favorite one, because if I hadn't have painted that, I don't know where I would be, because like I said, it opened up my eyes and realized that things had to change.
Right. And
Um,
if you don't want to answer this, you don't have to, but did you start working on stuff yourself or go out and get help to kind of get out of the funk you're in?
it was kind of uh, just I didn't have the ability to afford like a therapist or anything like that, so I just had to kind of look up, on the internet, some ways to kind of help myself get through it and realize that I need to move forward from what's happening, and um, get tools to continue to help myself move forward and focus on myself, because at that time too I wasn't really focusing on myself at all,
Hmm.
um, which was a big one. Take care of yourself, people. That's You don't realize how important that is,
Yep.
because you'll end up drowning and not even realizing it.
I think at least a few people in here that can use that message. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, glad that like art opened your eyes for it and helped you get out of there. Especially like doing your own art. It's kind of, I don't want to say cathartic, really, because it's not. I don't think that's the right word, but I don't know. I think it was cool that it was your own, like doing your own art piece for yourself, and not for drawing for a company or something. Is what did it for you,
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't get to do that often,
right?
so that was nice. But as for the second part of the question, is there anything I dislike about my work? Yeah. absolutely. There's something wrong with every piece I work on.
It's the artist
Um,
conundrum, right?
yeah. The biggest thing is I do wish my painting skills were better. Just because there's such a huge emphasis in our industry. Um, I starting off in comics, always focused on drawing. So I feel very comfortable with a pen and pencil or, just even charcoal. I love using charcoal, but painting always takes me a lot more time to not just do, but just get in the groove of. Um, I don't know what it is about it. It's still fun to me, but it's not as fun. I don't know.
You don't like it quite as
I don't
much.
really know how to explain it, but I still wish I still wish I was better at it because I know the job opportunities would be I'd have more of them. Just but that is how it is. But yeah, charcoal's a great medium to work with. There's so much fun you can do, a lot of mood you can get from a piece.
Trying to reinvent the wheel. There's a gate in here.
I see that, and I I approve of the gate idea. They look cool.
I was like, I don't know how to do the crossbar there.
Is is there any way that they let you edit the assets themselves? Like, can you take out chunks of that thing
So not
or
yet.
add cracks to it?
The next update they have, they're allowing custom assets, so you can import whatever. So everybody that
Whoa,
makes STLs and stuff is gonna have an absolute field day with it.
that's insane.
Yep. I'm looking forward. I see lots of commissions in.
Oh yeah, I don't blame you.
I need this, but I can't make it. So who can I pay?
Yeah, exactly.
There we go. That worked. I didn't have to make the whole thing myself. I forgot that there was a whole gate in here.
And then we had one more question, I think. Let me find it.
The general poppers in here.
Eh, Where's the question?
She
Oh,
said, "Get away with a lot with charcoal. For me, it always looks very good, and I always like how it looks even, or how it looks even if it's a fast sketch."
yeah, charcoal's just it's so much fun.
General Tampon says, "How
Okay.
do you start any design?"
Um, Lots of sketching until I like the overall silhouette of it. Like I don't go too much into detail with the sketch, keep it kind of loose. Just give myself enough information to know what's going on. And then and that can be based on, if it's for work, I'll have to look at the description and whatever prompts they give me, like if they tell me what type of environment the creature or character exists in, and if they have this weapon or if they wear these types of clothes. But yeah, it's always just a really rough sketch, um, just to make sure the silhouette is interesting. Um, and then from there, I just kind of try to work on some sort of final. And it's usually just one stage to the final. I just start drawing over the sketch. Um, Sometimes don't like how it's coming out, so then I just, if it's digital, I just delete that layer and start a new one.
Right.
um, but yeah, I'm liking these torches here by the gate, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, the red flames, that's perfect.
If you see anything you want to change, absolutely. Like if you see any assets or anything over here you want me to toss in there, feel free to mention it.
Yeah, I'm watching, and this just I've never seen this thing. I've I've known about it, but I've never. It kind of reminds me of like I used to do a little bit of world building in video games, and that's where you're just the person that takes the 3D assets they make and throw it into the world and try and set everything up, and that's exactly what
Yep.
this is.
Um,
It's kind of crazy.
I haven't worked in them, but I went to school for game design in a now defunct school. So hopefully I can get some of that student loan money back, you know? But
Yeah,
yeah, one of my favorite things going to school there was for level design. So I really picked up the whole like try to tell a story with a level when I can. Um,
right.
uh, Fallout, um, Fallout. Remember which they all kind of feel very samey to me, but
Yeah, they
one of the
do.
Fallouts was particularly good at telling stories with assets, and that was kind of a really big inspiration. Like you could walk into a room, you could see how skeletons were posed and like what was in the room. You're like, oh, oh, that sucks. Oh, I saw what happened, or you know, I can see what happened here. That was crappy,
Right.
and didn't think about it until later on. But that's a damn good job of being able to tell, whatever, how to put it. Like they made me like figure out that story just by placing things in a certain way in a room in an area. And I love that. Like that was awesome. And so, I try to do that kind of stuff in here when I can. I don't know about doing a scene like this, but for maps definitely I try to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you guys
Level design is a very underrated skill, I think.
oh yeah. I'm a big fan of the current trend of giving your players a an exit instead of having to backtrack through the whole damn dungeon, and like Diablo and even shooters are starting to do that or have
Well,
done
hey,
it for a
Diablo
while.
4, you can just hit E now and leave the dungeon.
Oh my god, so nice. I mean, I guess you could do the town portal before, but
Yeah,
I remember
I know what
remember
you mean,
those
though.
old dungeon crawlers where you'd complete this long ass dungeon and have to trek all the way back, and there's nothing left except
Oh,
the
yeah.
loot that you didn't pick up, that you probably didn't want if you didn't pick it up. Let's be honest. And it like that's a chunk of your time you're not getting back, just walking back. So yeah, the underratedness of level design, I totally understand. Like being able to um, zip right out right at the end of the dungeon. It's very nice.
Right. Yeah, there's always log on, log off, and log back on again.
Yeah, there's that old Nuxter's cheating the system, and
My brother did that.
she has another one for you too. She said, "I get that there are prompts that you get, but do you have need any specific motivation to create stuff? I find it hard to start, but once I start, I do have the motivation to finish it."
Mm. Okay, yeah, that's yeah, sometimes you know, sometimes you just get burnout. Um and it's just hard to find that motivation. Um so what I do is or some like so it's either I'm burnout or I'm doing a really hard switch. So let's say I've been working on fantasy stuff for a few months straight, and all of a sudden, out of the blue, here's a sci-fi project. All right. I love both. I love science fiction so much, just as much as fantasy, honestly. And that was kind of the thing with D&D. You know, we had been playing D&D for a while, and then that OGL stuff had kind of made me really ticked off. So
Oh yeah.
we decided to play Starfinder, and they're like, "Hey, you need to run the game." Okay, so how do I get motivated from DMing or drawing fantasy and then switching over to sci-fi? And sometimes it's just kind of picking like either I know a lot of people pick music that you know maybe it's a soundtrack to a video game or something like that that meets that genre or something, or that feel of the project that they're working on. And for me, it's usually either a movie or a video game. So for science fiction, it's I especially for Starfinder stuff, I just went back and played the Mass Effect trilogy. The Mass Effect trilogy is my favorite story of all time, and I would also watch Star Trek with my wife. I love Star Trek. For fantasy, um, I'll pop in the Lord of the Rings collector's edition or the extended edition.
Oh yeah.
They have those CDs or DVDs. Sorry.
Oh, you're showing your age, man.
Yeah, I am. Oh boy. Uh,
I
I know
from
what a yeah. I know what a cassette tape is too.
Yep.
They weren't used much, but I know what they are.
Most people have never had
Um,
to deal with a skipping CD
yeah,
in the
or rewinding a VHS tape.
yeah, the
Um,
absolute fury involved in a CD that's skipping.
oh yeah. Um, wait, where was I? I lost.
Sorry, the extended edition of the
Oh
Lord of
yeah,
the Rings.
I'll throw that in, and they talk about how the artist came up with everything, and I'll just sit there and watch that, and that usually gets me really pumped to start working in fantasy again. Um, but yeah, it's different for everybody, and like it took me a while to figure out what brings that motivation to me, and for me, it was just taking some of my favorite things and um just kind of getting swept away by it. And, if there were other artists involved, seeing how those artists created those things. And that usually gets the motivation and ideas flowing. So,
Kind of already answered with the Lord of the Rings thing, but I was gonna ask if you had like a um an inspirational thing. Um, but yeah, that would have been the Lord of the Rings thing. Um, I haven't seen the new one yet, but the first Spider-Verse movie, every single time I throw that on, is like a blast of like I gotta go do something creative now. Like this is a huge motivational boost here to do something creative, whether it's writing or jumping into making a map. Every time I watch that movie just inspires creativity.
it's a great movie. I can't wait to see the second one.
Yep. Good. I'm not
Yeah,
alone. You
that's a
haven't seen
great
it.
movie. I like this kind of it because what it does is really pulling the character and the eye towards this gate here. I like it. I think what maybe you should do around it, like to the left and right, is I like these skeletal totem things.
Yeah.
Maybe have them mix up. I did see there was some assets for like ruins and stuff.
Yep.
That would be kind of cool. I love the skeletal totems, so that's really fun.
There's a few different ones of those.
Is there any tentacles? Can you throw tentacles in
There are
this thing?
not, and it's hilarious that you said that because I
Ah,
just asked for that like 2 weekends ago in their live stream. I forgot was making a map, and I'm like, I need some tentacles.
hello.
Hey, I think it's back. Yay!
Hey, there we go.
Sorry about that, man.
It's all right. It happens.
Anyway, I had a feeling when I saw what it was doing storm-wise that I was like, it's gonna wait until today to crap out the internet.
Yeah. Yeah. Go figure.
Yep.
That's the way luck is. But, hey, what are you doing? Oh, come here. That's my dog.
Just coming to say hi. See how you're doing.
Yeah, he probably has to go out. Night pup. We call him our goblin dog.
We got a goblin dog.
Yes, we do.
Jay Z says, "Give Pupper treats."
Oh, he's had plenty of treats today.
Mandatory.
He's had tons of treats. You know what though? Maybe he does need one more treat. You need
Yeah.
one more treat.
There's always room for. Tell him
I'll be
chat.
right back. I'm gonna go give him a treat.
Yeah,
He
tell him
needs
chat says hi.
That's ice cream.
So I missed. I'll catch up on some of the chat. Let's see. We're not talking about age. Jay Z's calling us boomers. Tentacles killed the stream. Yes,
Yeah.
they definitely killed the stream. I don't know where did
Yeah,
that.
that censorship really is what happened. They're like, oh, we can't have tentacles.
Yeah,
Can't be talking about tentacles. I know where this goes.
I thought we were keeping it pretty PG 13 too.
Are
Um,
there any like weird assets like like strange you know the gibbering mouther? How it's got all those weird like slobbering mouths and stuff. Is there anything like that you can put on the ground?
So they don't really have creatures. The tokens that I'm using, they're connected to Hero Forge. So
Okay.
you can link your account, and anything that you've bought in Hero Forge will show up in here. I don't have a gibbering mouther one. It looks like they're kind of sort of inching their way into it. Um,
Okay.
because I know there's a gelatinous cube at least coming in the next update.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
there is that, yeah. Rev is right. There is the dragon skull, which is kind of what I was using to make the tentacles with in the bag of devouring.
Okay.
Got this that we can blow
Yeah,
up.
let's see if that could work.
Don't really, they don't really have a tentacle feel, and I can't change the color of these assets here. But
Yeah,
we can get
okay.
this kind of effect.
Well,
Hopefully,
either you know the players will be like, "Oh, that's tentacles," or "Hey, that's just more weird bone stuff."
yeah, more
It'll
weird
work.
bone stuff.
The world needs more weird bone stuff.
Yeah, definitely. There we go. Yeah, no, Nuxter, we are we've been dealing with stupid weather here, where it's maybe it's gonna storm, maybe it's not, and it's just gotten windy, and then the internet died. So I'm pretty sure that's what did it. Um, the internet is normally fine outside of my like once per stream hiccup that it does. Um, without fail, between like 20 and 40 minutes in, it starts acting all wonky.
Yeah.
All right, so we can use the dragon horns. I also realized originally gonna do this outside, like set the scene outside, but
Mhm.
myself a lot of and I can and I can't. So it's kind of one drawback is this weird texture that we have here and some of these other ones. I can
Mhm.
only apply to terrain, and the terrain program's really cool because not only can you do all the inside stuff, but we can take this and make weird. If I mess with the terrain too close to that backdrop, it's gonna delete it.
Okay.
But we can make it real uneven and stuff.
I like that. Yeah. It's crazy how easy it makes it to do that too.
Yeah,
It almost reminds did you ever play Warcraft 3?
I missed out on Warcraft. Sadly, I wasn't much of a computer PC gamer for.
Okay.
This actually looks kind of cool. It overtaking the ground.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It makes it feel more I don't know, in a way
Organic.
unnatural,
Yeah.
you know.
All right. So go back and get our screen going again. Oh no, I'm hardwired in Nux. Good. Good old classic Warcraft 3. Yeah, Rev would be the Warcraft guy to talk to.
Okay. I played on both console and PC. I still do.
Warcraft on console?
But like just gaming in general.
Oh, okay. I was gonna
Yeah.
say, um,
No, Warcraft on console would be terrible. They did release StarCraft on the Nintendo 64, and
I
that was a
remember
mistake.
that.
That was a mistake.
I never
They should
played it.
never have done that. That was
I,
a bad idea.
I
I was a
remember.
very frustrated kid. I was like, "What is this? Why? Why can't I control this?" Yeah, it especially like when you look at how weird the Nintendo 64 controller was, and it
Mhm.
did work well for the games that, for the most part, but not StarCraft. Like it was a very frustrating experience.
I imagine. He still gives me crap for playing Tiberium Wars, Command and Conquer on Xbox, playing with the controller.
Yeah, Command and Conquer.
Yep, the Tiberium War. Okay, so we're gonna this all back to how I had it. We're going with the red, right? That probably fits in the best here.
I'll tell you, if it's not the dog, it's the cat. Cat was just running around with that plastic bag. I
Yelling
don't
at you
even know
for
where they got
attention.
that.
I think I had this shrunk down before, where the gate was taking up most of the black hole. But I do kind of like how this looks too, with the black hole still behind it. And this is what it would look like to pour definitely not buckle tick. So we could sink it down a little bit. Oh yeah, I was gonna say the problem with doing this as like an indoor map is you can't paint the interior stuff. So that's something that I haven't shown you yet at all. Is we can drag this out, make this a little bit bigger, and we can just make whole rooms. Like if we wanted to put this weird gate here inside, throne room. So we can draw this whole area out as a throne room,
Okay.
and their big thing that they advertise is quick and easy map making. It'll spit out a throne room, but you can see it's really basic. I use this.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I use this function to block out rooms and then go in and change stuff. So like I would not leave one of my maps that I was making for my players like this. But it's cool
Mhm.
if you need something in a hurry that you didn't plan for. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, you can do whole things like that, or like I don't know. Say we want to do a throne room like this. Want hallway coming into the throne room. Want to make bedrooms coming off the hallway. Do like a master. Oh, this is a real tiny master bedroom, but whatever. You'll get the idea
Yeah,
here.
I get the idea. Yeah.
Um, just block these out.
That's
So
awesome.
it's super handy for my purposes of like blocking out maps fast.
Mhm.
Um, obviously close that up, but we can go in and throw the wall in there. Oops, I gotta select the wall first.
That's pretty quick,
Yep.
as advertised.
Yeah. No, it does an awesome job. Like I really get drawn into going in and customizing the crap out of it. But yeah, you can absolutely make things fast if you want to. And it tries its best to populate rooms like how it thinks it should be. Obviously,
Right,
it's
right.
kind of wonky, or it does like plain stuff. I don't know why there's a sword just chilling here in the middle of a throne room, but um, yeah, and then you can go through and kind of move.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
that's cool.
it's quick and easy. Um, yeah, I can't paint any of these. I can change these floor tiles, but I can't use any of the terrain. This is a long-winded way of
Right.
explaining. I wanted to kind of put that raised like
Well,
dais
what's
area.
this? What are these other wall options here on the bottom here? The or no, go back to the tab you were just at. What's these ones at the bottom here? No, move your mouse. Um, to yeah. What's that? Is that
Catacombs.
the catacombs?
Yeah. So those are some cool.
So can we use catacombs for this? Maybe you think, or is that just a little too much skeletonness?
There we go. That's what catacombs. Now we
I
have.
mean, I like it, but do you think is it too much bone?
Hey, I will make whatever map you want to while we're doing. You
Well,
want
hey, it's your god though. Like, do you want all these bones representing the god?
for that particular character? I'll give you a little sneak peek. I put down this texture on purpose. This is actually
Okay.
very close to what I have in mind for his how I describe it. It's actually surprisingly close. Um, but I mean, bones work too. Let's see, kind of a cliche question. I'm actually interested in the answer. Oh, Nuxter wants to know what your dream project is. while we're doing
God, I don't even.
this?
Um, I don't know if I honestly have an answer for that.
Too
Um,
much stuff.
yeah, I mean, part of me still wishes I could go back and um do some more video game concept art type stuff, but no, there is one thing that I keep wishing I could do. I worked on a 360 an Xbox 360 game that was fantasy uh fantasy action type deal. And unfortunately it never got to release. Um and so the company just kind of collapsed into nothingness. But the way that the contract was written was this one person. I can't remember who it was. I don't know if it was the head of the company or somebody still owned the rights
Hmm.
to those concepts, and it would uh, the contract would just dissolve if those assets or anything were never used for another project. Well, I think it was like 2 years ago. Turns out they never used them, so now I have the rights to the all those concepts.
Everything that you
Uh,
created.
yeah, and I have recently gotten into miniatures, miniature painting, and I even work on a couple skirmish games style projects.
You're doing a segue you didn't even know was coming.
Yeah. Um, so um, I really would like to be able to use my own designs for my army, but my 3D modeling skills are a joke, and I just don't have the time to beef them up at all. And I've tried, hiring some 3D artists, but I mean, that's the thing. I went to Fiverr,
Hmm.
and you never know what you're gonna get with Fiverr. And I tried a couple different artists, and they all have these portfolios set up, and I was like, oh, that looks really good. And I don't think that their portfolios are really their stuff. So I was really disappointed. I was like, this would not be a fun thing to even paint. Like, I can't even really print this because I also have a 3D printer.
Right.
Um, so yeah, I'm loving this.
So
Yeah,
you
this
dig
was the
the.
right wall choice, I think.
Okay.
It's
We'll
just
keep
so
going with
over the
this.
top. It's over the top, and I love it.
What we'll do.
Um, but yeah, I would love to be able to have somebody 3D model these concepts so that I could release these horrors onto the battlefield. Because there's a lot of monsters and just weird, crazy demon stuff that I worked on for that game.
And this was like a 3D action adventure kind of game.
Yeah, it was kind of like I'm trying to think. Was it no, I think that's a comic book. It's a comic book artist though that made the video game.
Oh, nice.
I don't know, but it was kind of like, yeah, it was third person action adventure. So you're running around hacking and slashing, casting spells, whichever type of build you decided to work with on your character. And yeah, it was a decent game. Like I of the the alpha and beta builds that I got to check out, because I wasn't a tester for that game, so they were still very uh, cautious because they didn't want any leaks or anything to happen.
Right.
Um, but of what I got to play, I was like, yeah, this is actually a fairly decent game. The best part is that it looks really cool. Like I think that would be the draw, is just this fantasy world looks really cool.
Did they stick pretty close to the concepts that you made then?
Yeah, for that project. I mean, there's other projects too. Like, when you're a concept artist, typically you're working with a team,
Hmm.
and sometimes you'll work on a, like, let's say a character, and somebody else is working on that character as well, and you're just coming up with a bunch of rough ideas. Depending on who your art director is, that how much they like to whip you, they'll be like, come up with 30 different ideas for this character, and they're all sketchy, but still, it's 30 ideas for the same character.
Yeah.
So you might work on it, you might even take it to the next stage, and they still are just like, what, we're just going to change what we're doing here. We're going to go with a different type of concept, and that's just how it goes, and you have to be somebody that doesn't take that personally. It's just all part of the process. Putting together an entire video game is pretty much a collaborative art experiment.
Trying to see if you can keep multiple teams working together all at once with
Yeah,
a unified vision. Yeah.
yeah. So I always liked that aspect of it because it was, too, you're talking with your other team members, you're bouncing ideas off of each other. Yeah, it's a lot of fun to work on games like that. Um, there was a few games where we didn't really have much of a team. There'd be like maybe two or three of us, and that was all the concept artists that were for the entire game. Um,
Crank
so
out
a
as
lot of
much
crunch
stuff.
time on those type of projects, but you know,
Then it turns into more of like passion project almost.
kind of, yeah,
Kind of. I mean, you're still getting paid for it, but
yeah,
doing a lot more work than you planned on.
yeah. It's almost like you're getting paid the same amount, but now you're stressed more because you kind of meet those deadlines, and there's so few people
Right.
to help out. But
There we go. Now we're
I,
starting to.
I like the upgrade to the torches too.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild. That almost, it's starting to remind me of like Mortal Kombat or something like that.
Oh yeah, it
That's
is.
I like it.
Uh, Moistmilk is Shao Kahn.
Yeah, Moistmilk is Shao Kahn.
Coming through, about to whack somebody with their bagpipes. All right, more specific. What is your type, kind, genre of drawing? Is your favorite?
Oh, hold on. My son's asking me a question here.
You're right.
Just go play a different game.
And Nuxter, thank you for all the questions. You're helping me out.
You want to play a game on the TV? Yeah, go ahead. Just turn it on at 0. Sorry about that.
You're right.
Let's see. I don't really have a favorite. I mean, it sometimes I am more pumped to work on like a sci-fi project. Um, and there's other times where I'm more pumped to do like a fantasy project or, you know, um, here lately there's been a couple like Cthulhu style, because there's somebody that I've been working with. They make some content for Call of Cthulhu.
Okay.
So it was really interesting to work in that area a little bit. Um, so that was a lot of fun. I hope I get to do more of that, but I don't really have much of a favorite.
Nice. Nuxter says she's feeling pushy, but want to hit them or fit them in before we go to bed. She's in the EU. They're it's already late
Yeah,
for her.
yeah.
But yeah, Nuxter, you're not being pushy. Any questions you want to ask? Feel free. It's like I said, you're saving me from asking probably more boring questions. The the one I did have that you talked a little bit about that I wanted to make sure I hit because I personally know nothing of this, but I see you post about it fairly often. Um, explain BattleTech to me.
BattleTech.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love BattleTech. BattleTech is Um, it's a skirmish game, so like, uh, I think everybody kind of knows what Warhammer is. You make giant armies and you make them fight each other.
Hmm.
A skirmish game is like a more concentrated group, and specifically for BattleTech, you know, your lance is usually about 4 mechs, um, and it's a lot. It is very tactical. Um, yeah, you control these lances of giant stompy robots and just blast the crap out of each other.
Yeah, I've seen you post pictures
Have you ever
of.
played Mech Warrior?
I have not played MechWarrior. I played Armored Core.
Okay, all right. Well, yeah, our Armored Core is also another amazing game, but okay, I'll look at it here in a sec, bud. Yeah, it was kind of the same thing. You know, Armored Core was very much build a mech, you know,
Hmm.
and go out and fight. Mech Warrior is pretty much the same thing. But for anybody that's familiar with the Mech Warrior world, Mech Warrior actually comes from the BattleTech world. It's been around either as long as or almost as long as Warhammer. It's been around forever. And there's two versions of it. So there's the way that's been around for a long time. Um, it's very rules heavy. Not my favorite thing. Um, but the new Alpha Strike rules, everything's more streamlined. Um, and it focuses, I feel, more on the actual tactics of moving your mech to certain spots, trying to get that advantage point. Um, so yeah, there's two ways to play it. I also just love painting the miniatures. So
Hmm.
you got these mech miniatures, and you get to paint them, and it's for me that's relaxing. Um, I don't know. That's how I go to my happy place sometimes. Is just grab a miniature and start painting.
No, no, it's completely understandable. I knew I had to ask about it because I've been seeing your pictures of it. I'm like, that looks awesome. And I know nothing of this, um, like a game or world or universe. I had no idea it was actually part of the MechWarrior frame.
Yeah. Yeah. I just have an obsession with giant robots. So yeah, Armored Core. Love Armored Core. Really excited about the new one. I still have a lot of the older games. Um, Gundam. I love Gundam.
Nice. And I've got
I even paint some of my BattleTech mechs to the same like color schemes and stuff like that for the Gundam mechs.
nice.
So
I haven't
yeah,
been
giant
into
robots.
any of that stuff, but Jay Z and I used to play the crap out of some X Wing, and I actually got into painting them for a little bit. I wasn't very good at it, but it's still fun. It's relaxing to work.
I never got to play it. I watched people play it though, and it did look really cool.
It is fun. You get to push
And
around.
the miniatures looked great.
Yeah, you get
They
to,
were really nicely detailed.
it's really fun getting blown up by them, Jay Z. Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun, and yeah, being able
Yeah,
to fly around and Boba Fett's starship now. Being able to fly around in that and drop seismic bombs, you can't help but to make the sound when you drop them, right? Um,
right. You have to.
you have to.
It's in the rules, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you can't get around it. But yeah, just I was you saw the pictures. I have no idea what's happening in your pictures, but enough to recognize that it's a cool looking mech game. But I
Yeah.
figured I had to ask you about that and get a little bit of info on it because I knew nothing about it until honestly until I saw you post pictures of it. I was like, I don't know what this is. It looks pretty neat though.
I guess that means I have to post more pictures.
I keep posting them. Yeah,
I'm gonna keep posting until you try and play it.
probably won't take much.
What's nice too is it's got a really nice cheap entry point. So you get like a starter box for Alpha Strike is like $50. and you get enough for like 2 lances. So
Okay.
I mean, and they're good mechs, you know. So if those are the only 2 lances you ever have, then you just got into the game for $50,
Right.
you know, versus like Warhammer where $50 doesn't get you crap.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I hope it's not another Warhammer because
No, no, not at all.
the Warhammer like setting speaks to me, especially the fantasy one because
Oh yeah, the Age of Sigmar.
look, I like goblins. It's kind of a thing here on our channel. We really like goblins. Um, so yeah, seeing the Age of Sigmar goblins in their squig riders, I think they were called, and all the just ridiculous looking units they have and all that. I like. I want to play these. I looked at the price. And like, I no longer want to play these. This is obscene. like,
Right.
um, I want to say it was like almost $200 for like a starter set. I'm like, oof. Nah, I have enough addictions.
Yeah. No, it's
Comics and
it's
X-wing
bad.
is enough. I'm out.
Yeah.
And TTRPG stuff. Especially like you had mentioned earlier. Kind of getting pushed away from D&D after the OGL nonsense. Um,
Yeah.
didn't get pushed away. Obviously, we were already pretty deep into working on all the Witchlight stuff, and ooh,
Right.
that would have sucked just throwing all that out. But
Yeah.
I definitely like makes me want to expand out. So we have the Pathfinder beginner box playthrough coming up next week. Um, that'll be on Monday night at 7:30. Um,
Yeah.
I have Deadlands planned for the future. I really, really want to play some Deadlands.
Mm. Okay.
Uh,
Yeah.
got Starfinder. Haven't played
Yeah.
Starfinder at all, but I've got the good old Humble Bundle. Got me with the core rule book, and
Yeah.
I've got the Alien Archive. Grim's all excited about it. He's starting a Starfinder campaign here soon.
It's so fun. It really is.
Some uh, got Dishonored sitting on the shelf.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm trying to branch out and play some more stuff. Not necessarily getting away from D&D completely, but it's pretty eye opening. Like there's
Yeah.
a lot more stuff out there that you can support and
Oh yeah, for sure.
give your money to. And
Yeah.
Paizo honestly seems awesome.
Yeah. They it's almost like they just give their stuff out all the time.
Hmm.
But yeah, my play group, we have been like taking turns running games, and we've honestly every time somebody runs a game, they pick a different system, and we've already been trying stuff out, and this is before the OGL stuff happened.
That's
And
fun.
so yeah, I guess, you know, and I just this past Sunday, actually, I introduced my son to D&D. So it's not like I'm against Dungeons and Dragons. It's just at the time, y- that's the same thing, buddy. Dungeons and Dragons is D&D.
Made people angry
But
about what they were doing to everybody, and just came off as
yeah, and that's the thing too. Like, since I work for smaller companies, uh, it's like in the span of just one day, it's like, well, I just lost 10 contracts
Mhm.
for this year. That's great. That's fantastic. You know, D&D isn't just a game I enjoy playing. It's kind of become my life completely. I'm completely absorbed into it
a lot of people's
now, and
livelihoods.
yeah, it just was, you know, it hurt. A little angry, and it was my turn to start running a new game. And originally we were going to do Spelljammers, which is my favorite D&D setting,
Oh,
and I just couldn't get into it. It just working on that campaign, doing the world building was just making me mad because it's just reminding me of all the stress that, you know, my work life is now being consumed by. So I was like, you know what? Uh, Last year at the Origins Game Fair, I I did a demo of Starfinder, and I had a lot of fun. Can we play that instead? And we came to the conclusion that, yeah, that's what we're going to do. That everybody was like, yeah, all right, let's do it. And I love it. I love it so much. That's good. Is that almost like from far away? That kind of looks like blood.
Yeah, it gets used like that a lot. Like these ground cover patches.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of the um, Dungeon Alchemist makers were cheating to use as blood until we got the those green screen assets where you can upload a PNG to it and you can make blood splatter now.
Cool.
Yeah,
I like it.
they're using stuff like that to make it look like blood splatter and spray.
Mhm.
I was trying to
I'm
make it.
liking how full this whole scene is starting to look. I like the rubble. I was actually gonna suggest getting some rubble, but you already did it. So
Oh, for the braziers, which you think it needs some braziers in here? Some of these.
I think it needs I wouldn't mind see the one on the right here. For some reason I'm kind of liking it more. I mean, I love that first one because it's so ornate and so commanding
Hmm.
of your attention. But I guess like are you thinking just having them on the side?
Oh
Like
yeah,
going
yeah.
down the side of the hallway? Then
So
I'd stick with that one on the far right.
okay, yeah. I usually when I'm making maps, if I'm looking for like a brazier like this, I'll take the ones that show up that I like and plop them out, so I don't have to keep going back to the menu. Because I'll do something, like I'll set it over here and then it look like with this one. So instead of having to keep going back and pulling stuff out of the menu, I've got them right
Yeah.
here. And then once I like something,
Mhm.
I just whoop, get rid of it. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, we this and kind of sink it in a little bit.
Yeah, that looks nice.
Pop down so I can get a little closer. I want it.
This is one heck of a vision to get into.
Yeah, gonna
And I
regret his
love the
choices.
glowing effect too that is picking up from the brazier.
Hmm.
And same with the torches, how it's getting all that light source on the wall there. That's
Yeah, and we haven't even messed with the. You know what? I'm gonna get rid of those real fast because it's really weird to like look at this and then you scroll back and there's this. We'll
yeah.
get rid of all that. And that's what we're left with, and then we can shorten this up too. Need to work. Fly. Um, yeah, we see. We were talking about talked a little bit about BattleTech. Yeah. So you mentioned you've got some stuff you can't talk about, but what kind of
Yeah.
projects that can you tell us about that you're working on?
Well, the stuff I can't talk about, it's all 5e related.
Mhm.
So even though I lost like 10 contracts in January, um, because of how things have evolved, some companies have decided to stay working and just keep making products. So I'm working on some books that are all 5e related, drawing monsters for the most part.
Monster books here.
Um, been a lot of fun getting to have a lot of design freedom, um, which is something that is very welcomed.
Are are
um,
they letting you design like the mechanics of the monster too?
so there's one. I have been able to post a couple of pieces for one book, um, and I have been able to. So that one for that book, it was pure just they didn't give me any prompts or anything. They said, "Hey, we need some stuff that would look like it works in the Fae, the Shadowfell, forests, mountains. We just need stuff that fits in this environment. It can be whatever you want." So I just went crazy And with that, I was trying to think how a DM could uh, actually run this monster against the players. Um, so I did get to talk with the designer about you know, how some of those mechanics would actually work. So sometimes they take that advice, and sometimes they didn't because I'm not the actual mechanic designer. But it was cool that they were open to that.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome. Being able to do the art plus have some input at least into.
Yeah, and I think honestly, I think almost every monster I worked on for that book, they took something from my suggestions and did some form of it, even if it wasn't exact.
Awesome, man. Noxter likes her monsters. Wants to see all, or Lady Mistella wants to see the monsters. Is it out there? Like, do you have stuff you can show off from it?
Um, they're on my Twitter. I'm on my gaming PC, and unfortunately, I don't have any art on it.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
But yeah, I've been able to post quite a few of them on my Twitter.
I've seen some of them.
Um,
Yeah, I've seen some really cool ones from you. There was some very like horror inspired ones. It's been a little while.
yeah, those were probably it because yeah, let me go ahead and look at my Twitter here real quick and see if I can find anything specific to that project. Um, the other big project is I'm working on a skirmish miniatures game called Chronicles. It's horror fantasy type thing,
Nice.
and I've decided to create a challenge for myself because I hate myself, I guess. Most of the artwork I do now is digitally because it's just so much easier.
Hmm.
But for this project, I have decided that I'm going to do it all with real ink on real Bristol board, and then go through the terrible process of scanning everything and making sure it looks right. Um, I, I, I guess the reason I doing that is because I love all Dungeons and Dragons art, but there's something about um some of the older stuff because it was all black and white, and all the art for this book is in black and white. And when you're doing stuff with actual physical mediums, there's shortcuts you just can't take.
Right.
So it causes you to try and just, I don't know, think outside the box for stuff. And I guess that's kind of why I wanted to do it. Let me see if this link works. Here's one of the monsters. Hopefully that works.
Yeah, this is one of the ones I was thinking of actually.
Yeah, so because I found the other one, but that one's kind of not Twitter safe.
Yeah, I was it Twitter
But
or there was one I was like,
or not. I mean Twitch safe.
yeah, I know
You
exactly
can
which
throw
one you're
anything
talking
on
about.
Twitter, I guess. But yeah, but
Uh,
that's one of them.
this is one I thought General would like a lot because she likes really creepy, just off the wall stuff too.
Yeah, and what's funny is like so I got some input on the mechanical or the mechanics of the game and stuff like that, but there's also like this, since I didn't have any prompts, I started thinking of, okay, so what the hell is this thing? Like, what's the story behind this? So the story behind that one was there are these ancient wizards that found this dark, powerful orb, and this scene is getting real creepy now with that lighting. I like it.
Yeah.
Um, so they found this dark power orb, and they were all trying to basically gain more power through its use. An experiment got wrong, and it ended up fusing all the wizards together in this weird, twisted creature. And now they're stuck with the orb. They're all one conscious now, and they have to hold the orb at all times. And
That is awesome. Uh, Makes me think of kind of sort of the Seven Liches from the Forgotten Realms. I don't know if you know those or not.
oh, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
All going into the Crystal Shard and making this really nasty, evil artifact. But yeah,
Yeah.
this creature, Walrus isn't back from D&D. Arrived to fulfill my oath, you dirty and friends. Hey, thank you, Walrus. Thank you for joining us. You get to catch some of having David North on here. And Walrus, if you missed it, this is some of his art that he's done for a creature monster book for 5e. And this is what we're talking about right now, actually. But yeah, the all of this super creepy like what is this thing? I love this gun. And yeah, that story that you had go with it is that's a good prompt. Having that
Yeah.
background for it.
Yeah, it is just. Oh, here's another one. Um, Here's one of the. This is a not nearly as destructive creature, but still trying to be creepy.
And yeah, Nuxter, go ahead and ask. Ask away. Uh, this one's opened up to 4,
Oh,
but I'm
that
guessing
that
it's
one
the
has a
bottom right.
bunch of pictures to it, but yeah, it's the bottom right one.
Yeah. Yep. This whole series of the ones I was thinking of. Yeah, that's fantastic. Oh, this eyeball still attached. Love it.
Yeah, I don't even. That was the first one I even did for the book, and I was like, "There's something wrong with me." I'm
Did
happy
Did you
now.
have a prompt for this one, or is this one completely?
No, I didn't get any prompts for any of these. I For this one, I was like, "What would be something that's creepy? Looks like it would be a twisted person that's lived too long in the Shadowfell,
It
and how would that mutation affect them, and how would they attack?" So I think this guy, he would try and kick you with his little feet and everything.
He's gonna kick you with his short legs.
Yeah,
That's
and it would
fantastic.
look just really odd. But also, with it being a weak character, it could still perceive things very easily because its eyeballs just move and everything.
This is for some reason, like I know what's going on there, but it makes me think of this. Actually, this is probably because of my I've got a turtle and I feed her pill bugs, roly polies. It makes me think of like the pill bug kind of back, how it's all arched over there, and then you
It
see
kind
the
of
arms
does.
and the legs and the eyes sticking out. You're like, yeah, it's not a pill bug. Um,
Yeah.
and actually, yeah, Lady Mistella said that they're giving her the scary stories art vibes. I can see that.
Oh yeah, I loved those series. That's what I was reading as a kid, so it might explain why some of my art is the
Yes,
way it
you're in good
is.
company here. There's a bunch of horror fans.
Yeah.
And Nuxter's last question that she asked, which doesn't have to be your last, Nuxter. This is completely up to you.
Mhm.
She said, "So times change, people change, mental health, life complications, opportunities, and such. Everything. My question is, has your art changed over time?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So my stuff used to be a lot darker. A
Darker
lot
than
darker.
darker than that one.
Yeah. But it was also like more, I guess, weird is the correct term. It was darker, it was weird. Um I don't know, but that's the thing that doesn't work. Um that doesn't work for every project. So you don't become a very it's just so hard to sell yourself if that's all you're showing off. And I don't work in that style. Like even the style itself, how I drew people, the proportions were different. Um, yeah, it's a huge change, and I don't even know if I could replicate it because two, I was a different person back then, so I think that's kind of why I found a style that was like what I was doing at the time.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes
Um,
sense.
so because again, your art is just an extension of you as a person. Um, so I don't know. I don't know if I can find any of that old stuff. I know I have it in a box somewhere in a closet. I didn't throw anything away, but I don't know if I have any of it online. Oh boy. Let me let me check.
There's also, if you end up, if you want to, you don't have to, but if you end up finding it down the line, you can share it with me, and I'll pass it along in the Discord or something. Or you're welcome to join in there and share it as well. Um,
Okay, cool.
yeah, we've got a section for art and stuff in there.
Mhm. Yeah, I should join it then because art. I love art. I love looking at art.
We have
I love seeing other people's art.
Jay-Z's once a week art prompt that usually gets some ridiculous entries for, where you can win the gift of being his best friend for 15 minutes or until he falls asleep. So, there's that to look forward to. I think one of the last ones was Armadillo, and we had, some pretty fantastic entries of armadillos and armor. Ar-
Fantastic.
Armadillos and armor. There we go. Be careful saying that.
Armadillos.
Yeah.
Armadillos.
Um,
I almost sounded southern. Armadillos.
yeah. That's if Jay-Z said it. Walrus has a couple questions too.
Awesome.
Let's see. He's asking. Well, that's not a question. That says just her butt. Uh, I know. Where'd it go? Walrus, I'm sorry, I lost your question. Oh, he's asking if you have a book out, and
Mm.
have you worked on demons and devils art?
Um, yeah. Well, I don't have a book out. I have worked on books that came out. Um, if anybody's familiar, I don't know if anybody would know it. It was a book series called the Summoner series. Um,
Super familiar.
it's essentially Harry Potter mixed with Pokemon. I'm not even joking. Like
Yeah, Lady
it's a
Mistella
kid,
knows it.
he's in a wizard school and they fight, but they it's not that they use the and they called them demons. Um,
Is it
but they fought alongside the demons.
the
And
DAE type of demons?
I think I can't remember.
Like what his Dark Materials did? Or
I
those
mean,
were
we're talking 7 years back. I worked on that. But they eventually did do an art book, and I drew all the demons. I drew the world map. Um, I think there's only like 7 pieces in the whole book that I didn't work on. Um, and I mean, it was a really cool series. It was a New York Times bestseller. But that doesn't mean I'm famous because I'm not. I'm not even sure if the author is famous. I know that they're still writing. Um, but yeah, I don't know.
I know I've heard that name, but I have not read any. Lady Mistella knows it. Um,
Okay, I found some old stuff. Oh boy.
Nuxter will approve of.
We're talking 2006. So I don't know if I can you copy? I don't know much about Twitch. Can I copy? No, I guess I can't post an image into Twitch chat.
Yeah, I don't think it'll let you do that.
Hmm. I can throw it into to the Discord call probably.
Yeah, that'll work. I can pull it up.
2006.
Nice. That is
Very
awesome.
different than what I did do now.
No, I'm just gonna tease chat now. I'm not even gonna show them. I'm just gonna keep it to myself. No,
Ooh.
I'm just kidding. That is awesome.
Thanks. I think it looks terrible. But yeah, just that's the type of
Yeah, that's
stuff
what.
I did. It was all, the Sharpie and just big pens is what I used on a lot of stuff.
Hey, Selman, welcome in. Thanks for stopping in. Or just I'm kind of sort of loosely interviewing David North here. He's a concept artist and illustrator, and we're looking at some of his art while we build a map. But
And
yeah,
then here's another one from the same year, and then I'm done. I'm not sharing anything else. That's old.
okay.
Because it's
You
all just.
you are encouraged to share as much as you want because I love this stuff too. Oh, where's
Oh, I'll share this one. This is a werewolf.
General must have passed out, but she would love all of this stuff. She's a self-proclaimed old lady, and she goes to bed quite early. So yeah, this is awesome. She would love this kind of. And I know we had the Twitch hiccup. We will post this back up later, and we'll have it stitched together, so there's not that weird cut in there. Oh, it didn't drop again, did it?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, cool. All
Sorry,
right.
I saw that somebody just posted a question. I was um
Well, my it did
trying to
something
read
weird
it.
on my end too, so I was making sure it
Oh,
didn't drop.
yeah, okay. Process for digitizing artwork.
Scanning it, right?
So yeah, so I mean, I know some people have really nice phone cameras. I'm still trying to figure out how mine works. But yeah, scanning and then just trying to, because what sucks about a scanner is it's using a light and it's just beaming that light onto the piece, right? Because otherwise all it's getting is black
Hmm.
because it's just dark. So it needs that light. So if you have intense black areas like I do, um, if there's even the slightest streak, it's going to show up, right? If you're not looking at it with the light beaming down in person, yeah, you don't see the streak. But with that intense light coming, yeah, all you're going to see a whole bunch of streaks. Maybe some lines don't look as dark as they should. So you just basically have to mess around and deal with the contrast of the piece, and it's a chore. Like I I hate doing it. I've never been very good at it. And that's why for the most part, I work digitally because it's just so much easier to give it to the client that way.
Cool, because I coming into this, I didn't know you were into comics or worked in comics before. So um, we can kind of come off of this question, but um, you said you had to do everything physically before, like when you were actually working with comics.
Yeah.
Were you expected to do your end of things and scan them all and then send them too, or were you doing your art and sending the physical back?
Both. It depended on the company's policy,
So not only are you overworked artist, you're expected to have a real nice scanner and everything.
which I did not. I couldn't afford a nice scanner.
Right.
So, and yeah, like I said, they Lady Masala just said, some smartphones do better than scanners. I have a fairly nice newer cell phone, but I'm not a photographer. I don't know how this thing works.
Yeah.
I can take some decent pictures of my mechs, but when it comes to artwork, I mean, I use it to post stuff on Twitter and stuff like that, but that's not good enough to for print quality. And
Right.
I don't really know how to mess around with the settings on it. I've tried looking up some tutorials and I'm just not getting the same results as what they're getting. So I don't know. Maybe I'm cursed. I don't know.
I don't know. It's a I don't know. Like I'm not an artist by any means. I do try to keep up with comics, and I was actually like gunning for writing for him for a little while. General was actually working with me, and one of the other Beanie Coffee from Witchlight. Her and I did a little short, like, for how many pages it was, 5 or 6 page comic to for a contest. It's about a pair of dwarf investigators. That seeing how much work goes on in the background of comics, is insane. And
Yeah.
uh, yeah, that you poor artists, man. I I feel for all the comics artists and have a lot like I feel like saying I have a lot more respect means I didn't have respect for him, but honestly, finding out about this stuff is even more respect than I had before of all that crap they on like a daily basis. Like like mentioned earlier, like even having to the fight to get paid half the time. It's not great.
Yep. Yeah, that was never fun. Hey, where's my paycheck? You have the work.
Yep. And
So
then
where's
wonder if you're actually going to get paid.
Yeah, I mean it was so bad. I mean, I was pretty much just eating rice and bread because that's all I could afford.
Right.
It was really bad,
I
but
feel that.
at the same time I did it to myself. That's the path I chose, so
Oh yeah, everybody's
but
joining in now. So
did you so you said you were working on a comic. Did you actually complete it?
yeah, it was just a like a I can't remember if it was like 5 or 6 pages. Is it was just an entry to a contest.
Okay.
Yeah, we finished it. It wasn't picked to win, but I mean, it's the first comic I've tried to write. Like legitimately sat down to try to write.
I
Um,
want to see it.
yeah, I'll see if I can find it. I should have it on my laptop actually. I'll share it with you. And looking back on it, it was very much first time comic writer, but it was really good. Beanie's art is fantastic. She made everything come to life. Uh, and I don't know, it was a fun experience. It's fun seeing what goes into it, and I actually like writing in like I don't know what the right term is for it, but like breaking out into like scenes, then characters saying this in a scene, etc. I actually like writing like that, and
Mhm.
it got me into trying to sketch out how I pictured a panel, and I suck at like I don't even attempt it, but it actually made me want to try to sketch out like a rough idea. So if
Nice.
whatever I was typing didn't make sense, like this is my stick figure idea of what I had in mind.
Yeah, that still works.
But yeah, I'll share it with you if I can find it.
Awesome. Yeah, I'd love to see it.
So Walrus asked, what's your go-to music or podcast while you draw? Do you listen to Sunshine and Lollipops or Rainbows? I'm just gonna hazard a guess based on your artwork that that's not it.
No.
While you create art, or do you listen to something darker and moodier?
So as far as podcasts go, I listen to the excellent role playing of the Dirty Rollers sometimes when I'm working.
I did not pay
Because
him to say this, everybody.
no, I was not paid. I really love Mud Butts, and the Witchlight campaign also is just, oh man, just whenever Moistmilk says something hilarious,
I'm gonna
it's
steal
the
that
best.
for a quote. I really love mud
Yeah.
butts. David North. I'm gonna put that on our pages.
I love the entire cast though. Just the way that you guys play off of each other. It's just it's just friends playing Dungeons and Dragons, and that's the best because so many of these actual plays, it's not that they're bad, but they don't have that feel. They feel like these are just people that are paid to show up and play a game together. And I mean, it's all right, but it feels kind of dead. But what you are all doing, it feels like friends playing, and I really enjoy that. It reminds me of my own games and uh, my own player group. So yeah, I listened to the Dirty Rollers. I listened to the podcast Nerd Poker with Brian Posehn and friends. It's just comedians that are friends in real life playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Just riffing
um,
off each other.
yeah, pretty much. As far as music goes, I'm a huge metalhead.
Yes.
I love metal. Um, just love it. Um,
What's in your current rotation?
okay, so let me check because there's a bunch. Um, the Black Dahlia Murder is usually always in there.
Oh yes.
Love them. Windrose. I love Windrose. Gotta
Danny
have
Hole.
dwarf metal. Um, Winter Sun. I really enjoy Winter Sun. Um, One that's not super heavy is Voyager. I
Okay.
really like Voyager for some reason. I'll listen to them for like science, like if I'm working on sci-fi. Um, yeah, I'll listen to them. Um, Irreversible Mechanism.
Don't know that one.
Um, I don't know if they're still making stuff, but man, I dig it.
I
I I just dig it.
I've been slipping back. I do this. I go in phases. You might do this too, but I think you're from about the same time, 2006ish kind of stuff. I've been sliding back into new metal again. It happens from time
Yeah.
to time where I just have to go listen to it. So this was actually the Spotify playlist that I was rocking out to today. There's a little bit of
Okay.
like
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff
No.
in here.
Yeah. Excellent. System of a Down's always is another one. They were my favorite band growing up in high school, and I still love them. All the Static X, you gotta have that.
Yep.
I saw, yep, Corn. I mean, I I started listening to that type of stuff again a couple years back because that's what my wife listens to. She loves this stuff,
Dude, I can't believe
and
Seven Dust is still kicking stuff out.
yeah, yeah, it's
Mudvayne.
crazy, but
This is one of my all-time favorite bands.
oh, Mudvayne. Yeah, when that Dig video came out, they were playing that thing like crazy, and I
Head
was all for it.
Headbangers Ball, twice an hour. Yeah.
Yeah.
Spine Shank.
Yep. El Nino.
Yep.
El Nino, man. Very nice.
Yep. So it decided to give me a real nice throwback playlist today. But yeah, this was stuff I used to listen to. Like obviously minus the stuff that had recently came out, but this is my jam. Um, Back in high school, old. Old was
It's still good. It's still good stuff. It's just not as heavy. It's still good stuff.
and that seems so weird that saying that it's not as heavy when it's still heavy as crap. Like Dig is still super
Oh yeah,
heavy.
well Mudvayne's definitely, but like when you look at like System of a Down, they're just crazy and all over the place, right?
Yeah,
But yeah, Mudvayne, they were about trying to be heavy and just speedy, and same with oh crap, now I can't think of things. Before Mudvayne there was
Slipknot.
Slipknot, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Slipknot.
the only concert I was ever afraid for my life in.
Static X, what I love about them, have you ever played Omega Boost for the PlayStation 1?
I have not.
Dude, you gotta check it out. It's especially if you love Armored Core. It's a mech game, a mecha game, I guess. And Static X did the soundtrack for that video game,
Nice.
and it is so good.
I want to say they were a big part of one of the Need for Speed games too, or they did some collaborations. Maybe I'm mixing things up.
Well,
It-
yeah, because I'm
it's-
pretty sure that Omega Boost was developed by Electronic Arts.
okay.
And Need for Speed, I think, is an Electronic Arts game. So yeah, that makes sense.
Um, yeah, I want to say that the specific Need for Speed game, I can't remember which one it was, but it had a whole lot of Static X and Cell Dweller in it.
Yeah,
And that
Cell
was a
Dweller.
pretty good, pretty good soundtrack. Like the old
Yeah, that would be.
Twisted Metal with Rob Zombie.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Skillium.
I
Uh,
love that series.
saw Seven Dust at a really small venue right after their self-titled album came out. Started getting radio traction. They played Godsmack and Cold Chamber. Uh,
Old Chamber. That
that,
takes me back too. Good lord.
that dude. Do you like imprint music with like what you were doing at the time?
For some, yeah.
So Cold Chamber's second album, Chamber Music, I will never be able to separate that from Siphon Filter on PS1. Uh, making guys smoke with the taser to
Yeah.
chamber music from Cold Chamber. That was just
Jeez.
I will never be able to separate those two things. Like I every time I played Siphon Filter, I'd throw in the CD and
Yeah.
listen to that while I was running around Siphon Filter. So that was fun.
For me, for me, this is hilarious. So one of my buddies, in fact, he's in my play group, and I've been friends with him since like fourth grade. So I was never a fan of these two bands, but he was for a while. And this was he was I went over to stay at his house for the weekend, and I walk into his room and just really loud while he's playing Duke Nukem on his PlayStation is American Badass. And then immediately after that, one of those songs, some Limp Bizkit song. And now whenever I hear American Badass or a Limp Bizkit song, just my friend really tiny, just rocking out playing Duke Nukem.
Awesome. I, it's kind
It's
of funny too.
ridiculous.
If you mentioned Limp Bizkit, like I used to not be able to stand them, and then, like the older I got, which is kind of weirder, the more I could tolerate them and listen to them, but only in like short bursts. And I'd rock out to them, then I'd get to a point like I don't want to listen to this for another like 5 years, and then 5 years would go by and I could rock out to them again. Yeah, Limp Bizkit was interesting. But yeah, that was my time,
I
man.
never could. I never could get into them, but everybody's got their thing.
Yeah. Um, we're kind of coming up on time. So I told you 9:30, and I don't want to go over and keep you longer if you got stuff to do. Um, do you have
I'm good. My son's just playing Switch.
cool. Yeah, I didn't want to keep you too long or anything, but just a few more questions, and if
Sure.
anybody in chat has some last minute ones. Walrus was saying, I don't have social media, but your tabletop miniatures and terrain are awesome. I think he's seen them on Twitter. Uh,
Okay.
I think he doesn't have an account, is what he's saying, so he can't tell you
Okay.
there.
Okay.
Um,
Right. Well, thank you.
like Trivium, yeah, yeah. Trivium is
Yep.
damn good. Um,
Indeed.
I don't. Did you? We get to what your current? Yeah, yeah. You told us what your current rotation is. Um, and on a Walrus, you beat me to it. I was getting there, Walrus. I was gonna close out with the three best or favorites. But yeah, he's asking what the best D&D class is.
All right. Ooh. So I don't know. I don't know if I can.
Oh, and what
So my
else?
favorite character to play is a fighter, the battle master. Um, and of course it's a dwarf. Um, Dwarves are my favorite. Um, let's see what else is fun. Uh, Crap. I don't know. I guess from Not so much that I think they are really. It's not that the sorcerer is bad, but I feel like it's more fun to play them because of um, I guess the story creation of your character, like how this person got their powers.
Yeah,
That's more interesting than the class, how the class actually plays out itself. But I do like the sorcerer for that. I think that because I love story, and I don't really go for what I think is going to pump out the most DPS. Like I thought fighter was going to be boring, but then I played the battle master side of things. I was like, oh, I like these options. This is kind of cool.
yeah, it gives you
Not
some
as
more
good as what,
tactics.
yeah, not as cool as what the fighters could do in fourth edition. Like martial classes in fourth edition had all sorts of options, but yeah, for fifth edition that was really cool. I guess another the for a third, I'd have to pick. Ooh, I don't know. Jeez. Um, Wizards because I love drawing wizards.
You love drawing them. Nice.
Um, yeah, I'll go with wizards. I think all the classes are pretty awesome, though. I think the only one that I would never play is a rogue. That's just not the type of style for me.
No, you don't want
I don't hate him,
you
but
want Moistmilk calling you sneak and stab.
yeah, that's right. I don't think that's my play style. I don't think I could even role play that character really well. So
Uh, so, I mean, while we're right there, what about well, you already said it. You like dwarves. Dwarves are your favorite.
yeah, dwarves are my absolute favorite. I love drawing them. I love making dwarf characters and playing them. I love using them as a dungeon master. Just dwarves.
Dwarf players are like, here you go, DM. Here's 20-page packet on the lore behind every rock in my mountain and all of the clans in my hold and all the grudges. That's fair.
That's kind of accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Nuxer has another question, but how are we feeling about this little scene? Is there
I'm really liking it. The only thing I don't know is there like just small piles of bones that we could.
there are yeah.
Okay.
Bone?
We don't have to like carpet it with bones. It's just, a little bit here, a little bit there.
We actually have bone brush.
Ooh. No. Wait.
Yeah,
Are there any podiums?
yeah. Like
Do
an
we do we have any
altar or
cool
podium.
looking podiums? Because I just saw that book, and I think we should do something with that book, like ancient dark secrets. That if you were to and even look at that crazy book right there. Oh, that's cool.
This
I love that book with the skull on it.
yeah, we can go with that route.
Yeah, there just needs to be something like maybe it's the temptation of dark secrets. Will you trade power for your eyes getting just sucked out of your skull or
There we go.
something like that type of look? Oh yeah, sacrificial altars. Let's go. That's awesome.
Like a crumbling one. So the one thing that I think we really need is the ability to rotate objects other than this. Once we
Right,
have
like the bowl and stuff that's on
yeah,
top of it. Yeah, I know what you're
or like
saying.
change it like rotate it so it's not perfectly. I want to put this? Like I need to rotate it on a different axis instead of um just
Oh
this way.
yeah.
If I could do that, then I can do a lot more stuff with this. But we have like this
Yeah.
broken one. This broken one might
I
work.
kind of like the broken one though, if
Yeah,
I'm being honest. That's looking
we sink it
I,
down in
I
the
feel like
ground.
that fits a lot more.
Oops, no, shrink it. There we go. All right, cool. I'll work on this then. And Nuxter got um
Okay.
her next to last question in. So I asked you about motivation and other stuff. I know you do art because it is your passion, talent, but do you feel like you put yourself or your own style or even personality into every work you do? Or do you have stuff you do just because you need to or have to? Or is it just job contract?
Um I always put myself some amount of myself into the piece because if you just kind of do the drawing just to get it done, just so you get paid, I don't think it ever turns out as good. And it doesn't necessarily take more time to really put yourself into a piece. You know you want it's not like everything you do has to be a masterpiece, but you at least want to look at what you did and feel a connection to it. Otherwise, it to me it would feel like before I was able to even work in comics. What's the difference between just drawing something to fulfill a contract versus washing the dishes for the restaurant? I didn't really care about those dishes. you know or when I was a cook, I didn't care about the food I made. I mean, I probably should have because somebody ate it. But you know I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy the job, so I didn't really care
Yeah,
about.
it's a job and you're kind of mass
Yeah,
producing
you
food.
don't have passion in it. It's not gonna be your best.
And let's be real,
um
Nuxter being overseas, this might be different, but here, restaurant workers and stuff like food service are not treated great.
no, not at all. And it's soul crushing. And we only have one life to live that we know of, because nobody knows the true answer to what happens. And I think you should take the time to enjoy it, as much of it as possible. So, um, yeah, if you're not really digging a project, you, you don't feel yourself putting any bit of yourself into it, you probably shouldn't be working on it. Even though, yeah, it's money, it can put food on the table or pay a bill or something. It's just not worth it. And even if you don't put a piece into your portfolio, somebody's going to find it and they're going to see it, and it could prevent you from getting a job that you would really like to be a part of. So, yeah, that's kind of how I view it.
It is good advice, and I think that kind of goes for like any job too.
Yeah,
Not
any profession.
get out, get out if you hate it. Um, yeah, Nuxter, you don't. The questions are up to you. If you have to go to sleep, then go to sleep. But I'm not gonna stop you from asking questions up until we
Yeah,
leave
there's no
here.
limit. There's no
Um,
limit.
so like, what are I don't. We might have already talked about this earlier, but what are some of your your favorite overall projects that you've worked on? Not necessarily like a single piece, but like one of your
Hmm,
bigger like ttrpg projects, or um
okay.
like that, or
Well,
kind of mentioned the game that you liked working on, but it didn't come out.
yeah, there's a lot of video games. And what really stinks is a lot of, like, most of those games didn't come out. The ones that did was when everything switched to mobile.
Mm.
So I think I worked on over 40 published mobile games. Um, but when it comes to console, I mean, I worked on stuff that was coming out for Xbox 360, stuff that was supposed to come out for the Wii, and none of that ever happened. The one company I mentioned earlier, that's where I got my start in from comics into video games.
Hmm.
Um, that's the only company for computer games that I worked with that actually published. So, and I guess that's pretty common because a lot of the other contacts that I had, they're like, yeah, the same thing's happening to us. And it was a weird time, video games were starting to really boom. In that age, you know, of course they're huge now, but this was when, video games were really starting to become something as far as something for investors to get pumped into. And so you had all these companies popping up wanting to do things. And, and unfortunately, a lot of projects just never come out.
Yeah. Um,
Even though many of them were like, yeah, this is 90% done.
Lady Mistella knows a lot about that. It's just um, art and design work. For somebody that used to work on mobile games, it
Okay.
doesn't so much anymore. That had a few projects that were pretty much almost completed, and they just shelved it for no reason.
Yeah.
Frustrating. I like secondhand frustrated for that kind of stuff.
I, yeah, I feel the pain. I have felt it for years and years.
Yep.
It's crap.
Is it?
And Nexter again, there's no pushiness, just ask questions.
Yeah, you're not being pushy at all.
Especially if you're wanting to learn, like that's how you learn is asking questions.
Yep.
I can't tell you how many questions I've asked other people.
And Nuxter, you never know when I'm gonna do another one of these because it was supposed to be a once a month kind of thing, and we went two without. So ask them
Yeah,
while you can.
who else are you trying to get in on this? Is there anyone specific or
The first one I had was Scott Fitzgerald Gray. He's a designer and writer for he's done a lot of 5e stuff. Some of the official stuff. He has it was like 40 plus credits on the official D&D books. Um, I
wow?
know him through one of my college professors, and just kind of talked to him on and off for a while. Um, so he was nice enough to come on and talk about some of his stuff, and he's making his own system that we've been keeping track of and keeping an eye out. And sure, we had some people in the chat that were pretty excited based on what he was telling us about his system. So yeah, we're looking forward when that comes out. But it's pretty much just like anybody that I've talked to or friends. Like I know a lot of super creative people, and think it. I just thought it would be fun to have people on that, um, like what you're doing right now. You're sharing, some of your stories from the trenches, kind of thing that not necessarily everyone would know about. Like I don't know how many people know that comics artists don't get paid a lot or at all sometimes, or how accepting art was way different not too terribly long ago. Um, so like any
Yeah.
stories, like I'm trying to get some of my creative friends and creative people I know on to share some stories. So I have I want to reach out to Cup of Joe sometime in the future here. He's a huge pixel artist. I've known him since college, and he's really just settled into his niche as a fantastic pixel artist and very uh, like massive personality. So I want to come on and or have him on and have him talk to us about his start in like pixel art. And I mean he's told a lot on his own channel, but like having him come on and share the story, um,
Right.
like his ins and outs of that. I just know a lot of artists, and a lot of very different artists too. Beanie from the Witchlight, she does. just all kinds of fantastic art. She also does VTuber models. So she designs them from drawing, uh, creates the 2D models, and then rigs them all herself, animates them, and they are fantastic. They're just
Mm.
awesome looking. I'd like to have her on, and her art style is completely different from everyone else's. Rise Arts, somebody I know from roller hockey of all things. Uh,
Nice.
when I lived up in Michigan, I was playing hockey. Like it was me and like two or three friends joined a team. They just threw us on a team that needed people, and turns out it's full of cool people, and I still talk to some of them
Nice.
occasionally. And he's got a very like street art and graffiti style that he
Hmm.
puts on like nerd stuff. Like he's done like comic characters, and actually have an awesome Venom piece. A huge Venom fan.
Oh yeah,
I have
Venom.
a pretty big canvas from Lady Mistella of Venom. Actually, we have a few pieces of his art floating around here, so I'd like to have him come on. And it's um, like I said, just really anybody, whether it's from ttrpgs or art or writing, or we just know a lot of super creative people, and kind of want to have them on and let them share their experiences, their knowledge, like that.
I like it.
All right.
You need to get him on.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's the plans. I'm just awful with time and planning, as everybody that's in the chat will attest to. Um, but yeah, the last 2 weeks have actually been real. Can you interview Rev how to have your character KO'd the first session? He really wants me to kill Rev's character.
Mm.
Um,
I've had that happen before.
Bribery?
No, just having my character KO in the first session.
Oh, yeah. See, they're trying to bribe me to kill his character. A little bit different. If it
What
happens
are they
naturally,
bribing you with?
cold hard cash, I think.
Cold hard cash.
Hmm.
What's the number up to so far?
I don't remember. Maybe it wasn't Walrus. I don't. There's been multiple people trying to get me to kill multiple different characters, so I can't keep track of you guys. You're all chaos. I can't keep track of who's trying to get me to kill off who. Jay Z usually tries to get me to kill off characters. He's chaos by nature. Um. Oh yeah, if you have story or if you have time, let's hear the story of your first session KO.
Oh, let me tell you, it's not a very long story.
Okay.
Because it happened pretty early. So, um, I decided to play a a turtle,
I may
a barbarian turtle. I love turtles; they're pretty cool.
may not be playing one in a
Haven't
workshop
played
next
one
week.
yet. Decided to roll it up, and I, it's a good thing that I didn't come up with a huge backstory for this character. um, but anyways, I just kind of went in and I didn't play the stupid barbarian, but you know, I made a really stupid mistake in not checking a room for any traps,
Okay.
and I went into that room that definitely had a trap. It was like a bear trap. I got caught in it and was jumped by a bunch of goblins, and I died very quickly.
I mean,
And that
no.
was within the first 15 minutes of the game.
At least there was still plenty of time to roll up a new character. Right?
Yeah, I more so laughed about it because of how the GM just decided to make my death long, excruciating, like, just this big old snapping turtle looking turtle guy getting just poked and prodded by these tiny little goblins, and
Amazing.
you
And you
know
and you
so it
still
was
listen to the mud bots.
enjoyable.
I'm impressed.
Yeah, it was still very enjoyable, and I'd do it again. No regrets.
Just YOLO straight in there.
I ended up getting to play the character in a different campaign, so
Nice.
that's the other thing. You can always, if you really want to see what the character can do, just roll them in a different
Just
campaign.
run straight in. Oh, okay, yeah. Different campaign.
Yeah.
No trial by
Well,
fire.
it was a different play group too, so.
Nice. And then, yeah, I've mentioned like we're pretty fond of goblins around here.
Oh yeah,
What is your favorite official D&D monster?
my favorite official one.
Yep.
Um, I do love goblins. I cannot lie. I love goblins. I use them a lot as a DM.
Guys, I'm not
But
paying
my
him anything.
um, but my absolute favorite is not any specific ooze, but I love oozes. They are my absolute favorite because there is nothing more insane and fantasy than just a blob that will eat you. And it doesn't really care that it's eating you, and it just is.
You're just in the way.
Yeah, or maybe it doesn't know you're in the way. Maybe it doesn't even know it's eating you. Who knows? It's an ooze. It makes no sense and it's great. It's amazing. I love oozes. I am kind of working on a passion product or project of mine, which is a book of new oozes.
Excellent.
And we'll see if I do finish it um and release it, but I love oozes.
I don't want to
Um
ruin anything for you, but you upcoming Mud Butts episode a lot.
well, I probably will just because it's the mud butts.
For
Is there a
specific
butt
reason.
ooze?
A
Is
butt?
Iris gonna poop out a butt ooze?
No, but that can be a thing that happens maybe in the future here. That would be a very Iris thing.
Yeah. Or maybe like she just poops and like Buckle Tick is just like, hey, I can use that and enchant and now it's a ooze or something. I don't know.
He knows the characters very well. Be after one of her ingesting purple plant escapades, the purple plant ooze with
Oh
Corbin.
God. Yeah.
Um, yeah, you might like some of the upcoming episodes. I may or
Awesome.
may not have grabbed all your ooze packs a while back for that exact purpose. Um,
Oh, okay.
had fun with them. There's I'll send you afterwards. The big bad of the dungeon that they're a big old dungeon crawl. There's a big bad. Or you know what? You can just tell me that you want to be surprised if you want. It's up to you. But I'm using one of your tokens that I absolutely loved when I. Oh, and one of my other one of your favorite tokens that I've come across. There's a lot of awesome ones in there. The Dire Troll. I loved that thing. I loved running it. I loved the way it looked, and it was pretty hilarious watching them because you've listened to enough of them. You know how they are. They just kind of run into
Yeah.
things, right? It's very
Yeah.
very chaotic. As most D&D combats go, they swarmed the Dire Troll, and this was pretty earlier on, and
Right.
you might have listened to this already.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, this was also the first time I ran on a Dungeon Alchemist map. It was like the very first Dungeon Alchemist map I made.
Mhm.
They swarm this Dire Troll, and it has a fun little ability that it attacks everything around it in a 5 foot radius. And they all scattered after that, and that was one of my favorite moments. The combination of your token, that ability, and them scattering was like one of my favorite like combat moments. Because it was oh, we can't just swarm everything and hit it till it dies. Sometimes that sucks.
Wait, tactics? What's that?
Yeah,
Yeah, it was fun watching that.
Uh, so your oozes are your one of your favorites, other than the goblins. Good to know.
Yeah, I think, goblins are just so much fun to draw. I think that's why they're pretty high up on my list.
Um, all right, so this is a agree or disagree. Pathfinder has the best goblins.
Hmm. Yeah, I'll agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I the only, like, if I were to change one thing about the Pathfinder goblin is the eyes,
Okay.
because I feel like I understand like their design, why they did it, but when I made Pathfinder style goblin tokens, I went with actually having pupils, just because I think there is something about the having a little bit of character there that you don't quite get when the eye is just all red,
Yeah, that's fair.
because otherwise it just looks evil, right?
Yep.
And sometimes I like my goblins goofy,
When they are.
just little shit-eating grin little guys that run around and just want to cause chaos. And
Yeah.
sometimes they're sad and sometimes they're happy. And
And we love them
uh,
as just little chaos causers. Like, that's their purpose.
yeah, that's the best way to play a goblin. uh I tried to run Frost Maiden before, and it just didn't work because one of my players was a goblin that just set everything on fire.
Everybody's warm now.
Yeah, kind of.
I
And
mean, goblin logic.
well, that party just in general was just chaos, just waiting to happen. So just throwing a goblin in there like that just was the final nail in the coffin,
I
and I ate it up.
that I feel bad that it kind of derailed your campaign, but also I, I can't help but to applaud the goblin energy there.
I mean,
Um,
that's their job. If
yeah,
you're going to let a player play as a goblin, then you are accepting that there is a possibility that the entire campaign gets derailed. You just have to be okay with it. And yeah, there's a contract and you're signing it.
uh, I think I've already warned the one group that's running Starfinder game that if I can join that, I am absolutely without a doubt being a space goblin,
Do it.
um, a
Yes.
a pilot, mechanic.
Yes.
Um, I picture him very. I don't know what the term is. I know there's a term like what's the genre for like the Rocketeer? Is that considered pulp?
Kinda. Yeah.
So I picture him being like a pulpy like space person. In like the leather bomber jacket with some Skittermander fur on the shoulders.
Ooh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Just
I
just
like
very
that.
like over the top pulpy even though he's completely like out of that element and it's not a pulp campaign. It's just kind of
Right.
how he views himself. Um
Just don't get hit.
yeah, don't get
You're
hit at all.
only going to start with like 2 HP.
Right. Um yeah,
The
I
goblin must survive.
do everything in my power to make him survive.
Yeah.
So, chat, do you have any more questions you want to ask? This is kind of last call for questions.
And while that's happening, I do have one more suggestion for this scene,
Yeah.
which is fantastic. I love everything about this. I hope it fits your vision that you had for this strange otherworldly god or being or whatever it is. But if we could just tilt Moistmilk so that her face is right in the center of the portal.
You mean like slide her over or backwards a little bit?
Yeah, and then oh, I guess you couldn't tilt her.
Yeah, I can't like angle
I
her
forgot you
down.
can't tilt her, but if only we could get her face just right dead center in the portal. And then you'd have to use that
It
voice
looks like she's
whenever it talks
drowning.
to Buckle-Tick.
Um, it looks like she's trying to keep her head above this thing. But yeah, she's
Like she can't breathe.
yeah. Uh,
I can't breathe in my own energy.
she wouldn't actually be here. I was just using her as the placeholder.
I know. I'm just joking around.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I do absolutely love this scene. I think it's great.
I wish I could. I wish I could like tilt her head down at least something. About the only other thing I can do is drop her down like this and kind of put her in the floor. It's almost terrifying too.
Moist milk is the savior.
She's a paladin, so she probably will end up being that. Um, Noxter said had so much fun, learned a lot, enjoyed every minute. Sorry for myself that I, last till the end. Noxter, you're good. You stayed up crazy late. It's
Yeah,
5 a.m. and you work at 9. What are you doing, Nuxter?
that's insane.
Thank you for hanging out
Yeah.
late with us. We very much appreciate it. But have a good night, Nuxter, and get some rest.
And thanks for the questions. It was great to, answer them. I love the opportunity to talk to people about stuff like that.
Yeah. She said you've been a pleasure, and thank you for answering all our questions. Yeah. Have a good night, Nuxter. Um, I only have one more question for you.
All right.
Is there anything we can watch out for from you in the future? Anything that's announced that you can share that we should kind of keep our eyes open for?
Um, hmm. I guess the biggest thing is that skirmish game, Chronicles.
Okay.
Um, just because it's going to be a pretty big book, and I don't know if the final. Um, I know it's planned, but I don't know if it'll actually end up being in the final version of the book. There is a 5e campaign um, that's planned for it because a lot of people for the last book that was released for the rule set. Um, that was one of the biggest things. People were like, we wouldn't mind having some 5e content.
Yeah.
Yeah, the combat is a completely different thing because it's a skirmish game, but the setting, people really like the setting. So as far as I know, it's still planned, but I've been posting a lot of work for that on my Twitter. Even though I'm, giving it the hashtag D&D and Pathfinder because it is, it's the same type of creatures and stuff,
Yeah.
but it's actually for a miniature game.
Oh, that's cool.
but it's that's probably the biggest one that I can talk about that's been announced because I don't know when that Sinis book is supposed to come out. I should probably find out.
Okay. And
I don't know how far along it is.
we don't have like a huge Discord or anything, but you're more than welcome to join and share stuff. There's self
I
promotion.
already have, and I've done a
Excellent.
little bit of scrolling through the art section, and I'm liking what I'm seeing here.
Excellent.
So,
But yeah, you're welcome to share stuff in there. Yeah, I think that's it. Or jump off of here. Um, man, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for coming on and agreeing to this. You just total. You agreed to come on a total strangers map making Twitch show and hang out and kind of shoot the shit. So I very much appreciate you taking a chance with us and hanging out. Um,
thanks for having me. This was a lot of fun.
yeah, yeah. And we'll keep an eye out. And like I said, whenever you like get your project a little closer and stuff, or you want to share progress with it, go ahead and post it in there, and I know we'll all love to see that.
Alrighty.
And one last time, guys, this is a link to all of his sites except for Twitter because I'm awesome and forgot to put it in there. But I'll grab your Twitter one, unless Lady Mistella has it already. See if she can beat me to it. You think I would have grabbed it after the first time? I realized I forgot what I did. Anyways, here we go.
It's all right.
And there's his Twitter. You guys, go give him a follow so you can keep up with his work. Um, we are going to go right into Careful Cantrip tonight. I like seeing them. They've got a goblin in the party with some goblin energy. They have a little bit of chaos going on. So we're gonna raid into them tonight. David, thanks again. Very much appreciated. To start this, I'm always bad at this. Here we go. Talk about raiding before I ever start it. There we go. We're gonna go check out their campaign. And guys, we'll be back tomorrow night with Witchlight at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. If you guys want to come back and watch the party kind of waddle through Hither, the swamps of Hither, you're welcome to come back and see what they're up to. But thank you all very much. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the questions, Nuxter, Walrus, Skillium. Thank you guys, and thank you again, David, for hanging out. Rev, appreciate it. See you guys next time. Adios.